Dragunity locks down its first regional top, along with a lot of other top rogue contenders. Alright, of course, as per usual, the 34% of you that have not smashed it, crap out of the subscribe button, smash it so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. We have your breakdown here for this regional, and, you know, I've been liking... Honestly, I mean, there's a big shift coming in the metagame here, but it's actually been really enjoyable to see the old rogue decks still getting the chance to keep up here. Now, for this regional, I mean, you had 2 tier elements at the top cut. Woo, yeah! Yeah, that's how thrilled I am about saying that anymore. But the interesting things begin in the sprite category. You have a boring old sprite deck, which actually ended up winning the event here, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But for the first time in a while, we saw the sprite version of Runic show up. Now, if you're very familiar with how much I love Runic as a whole, it's really nice to kind of just see that we went back in our old time machine here and dusted off the old 2022 meter just to see that this build could still function. Now, this is a big one for you Earth Machine players out there. You gotta top, alright? Anytime that Earth Machine can be successful, step up through the ranks here and show us that, hey, you know, this deck can actually still do something is very, very, very impressive at the end of the day. So that's definitely something else that I just wanted to mention here was, you know, you're making progress back here in the department for this. So, good stuff. We also had Rika Sun Avalon, or just plants in general, kind of showcasing their power yet again, which is really, really nice. Flounderies soaring into the top cut of this event, which I'm not surprised to see that Flounder is still doing well out here. I mean, it's still Flounderies at the end of the day. And then you had one legendary Dragunity player step up to the top cut of this event and go, you know what, I can still do something. And I think that that is pretty impressive. So we're going to pass on over to the top deck list. Winning the event was, well, none other than actual basic sprite. Now, the things that are very interesting about this, I mean, we have End of Anubis in this. Like, I've seen End of Anubis kind of show up in side decks for a little while, but it never really stuck around as one of those, like, go-to cards. You know what I mean? It was just side or bust. You never really saw many people trying to main deck it. So to see that a deck like this actually was playing End of Anubis in its main deck is kind of impressive. Obviously, you know, the rest of this deck's going to be very standard. I mean, you're going to use your buy steel package to make sure that, you know, you can interrupt those pesky light and dark monsters. And then we're playing like Gamma Burst in here for OTK potential, which is actually also kind of really cool. Gamma Burst is kind of faded out of the format a little bit, but this build definitely brings it on back here, showcasing that everything that you did once know about this deck is still able to function and still process. So good stuff. Next up is going to be your first tier elements deck. Now, to no surprise, I mean, you're playing the Ishizu package in this. I don't know why you would try to touch this deck without the Ishizu package right now when it literally is the best thing for you. We're also playing Infinite Impermanence. Huh? That's an interesting little callback. Most of these builds don't even try to attempt to play that. We're also only playing 5 buy steals in the main deck, which kind of feels a little bit off. So many of these decks just want more, but the more diversity, like if your region is like not super like tier heavy, you're going to continue to see more and more players kind of shift away here and go, maybe this isn't the best call for the event. I perfectly understand that at the end of the day, you know, wanting to kind of spice things up and see different levels of diversity kind of be present here. So overall, that is very, very interesting to kind of see that shift there. Now, oh boy. Now, this is kind of cool. We're playing the Blazing Cartesia in this tier list. Now, I think things are going to get a lot more exciting in the future here for tier because you will get the Grand Finale Dragon. Once you kind of see Grand Finale Dragon, this deck will change. You'll get some extra layers a little. I mean, you're already playing the Brandon and High Spirits package in this deck, and you're playing triple copies of Scream. Like, you are maximizing those results right now to get that key fusion summon so that you can play the game at the end of the day. So definitely something interesting to really see here in terms of how things are going. Also, double Rukalos in this bad boy. I mean, I don't know what they had to go through here to get that to actually happen, or like what metagame choices that they had to make, but that's definitely interesting to kind of see. Interesting. And next up here we have our other sprite deck. Wow, they really did dominate the top portion of this deck or event. So this is going to be, I did call this a time machine deck at the beginning of this video because it's very interesting just to kind of see like Wind Up Kitten here being used back again with the runic package. I mean, your entire game plan here is you're going to sift through all of the good runic cards, you're going to laugh at your opponent as you're milling off their resources, and then the sprite cards kind of set up defensive option lines for you to be able to play the game. And then, of course, I mean, I see that we're playing double of the Runic Field Spell. I think if you're going to play this deck right now, that the double Runic Field Spell is going to be the best approach for you. It's going to get you those free draw power pluses that you really need to see at the end of the day in order to kind of keep up with the game. Also, shout out to Tetsu Rat Newman down there in the side deck. We all know how good that card actually ends up being in some of these matchups. So, yeah, you really do love to see it. Now, the good stuff begins. We have our Earth Machine player here. Now, the most interesting thing right off the bat here is, well, obviously it's Earth Machine itself. You don't tend to see Earth Machine really keeping up anymore. And to see that this deck did get the chance to really shake things up out of this event was really good, actually. I see that we're also citing one Neko Main King down there. So in case we do run into the Ishizu tier matchup and they are doing like heavy, crazy mill power, you will get the chance to see Neko Main King actually intervene and save you from that. Outside of that, I mean, you're still going to be doing standard Ruin Force plays. Double Regulus has become pretty standard in this deck. And then, of course, we're doing 2 Rivalry, 2 Skill Drains. So you got a 2-2 split there, all things considered. So, yeah, this looks fine. I really don't see anything too out of left field here that would really change much. Now, we get into our Rika Sonno Avalon deck. Now, the first things I see here are we're doing just 2 copies of the vanilla. I've said countless times in videos that you do not want to see multiples of that vanilla monster. All right, when you start seeing multiples of those bricks showing up, the game is going to get very, very bad for you very, very quickly. That's why they make a lot of the decision tree making that they do here. That's why you're seeing like the 3 unexpected die down there. I see that we are citing Dimension Shifter. Well, I mean, technically Dimension Shifter hurts our opponent more than it could ever really hurt us at the end of the day. I also like the fact that Lone Fire Blossom has just kind of become like, you only play 1. Even though the card is absolutely amazing at the end of the day, there's no real point in like maximizing it. It's amazing for how much of a troublesome card that was back in the day that, you know, we've seen it stick around in the capacity that we have right now. So, interesting. All right. Oh, it's Flounderies. So the current iteration of this build, it evenly matched has just taken hold. All right. I haven't really seen a Flounderies list that hasn't been evenly based in really quite some time now. The hilarious part about this list is actually down here in the side deck. We're just mixing it up for the Spell and Trap Destruction. I mean, Harvey's Feather Duster, MST, Cosmic Cyclone, 1-ofs, and then 1 Regeki Double Lightning Storm. I mean, hey, you may as well mix it up. You have the capabilities to do so. See, we're playing 1-dimensional barrier with triple copies of the Harpy's Feather Storm. That's fine. And then Solemn Judgments to back up our game plan. And then we're also playing double Stormwinds in here. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, Stormwinds is, as a 2-of, is fine. You're not going to really waste out too much at the end of the day, but honestly, a lot of these decks feel a lot more standardized at this point. You don't really get a lot of room for innovation here. And then we have our Dragunity list here. Now, this is Dragunity Bysteel with Quackimera Draco. We're playing Mudoras and Keldos to get some shufflebacks in here. We're citing the Dragunity Glows and the bigger Dragunity monster. Basically, your game plan here is you're going to supercharge through a lot of the powerhouse cards that you would with standard like Dragon Good stuff. And then, of course, as you're stepping through these cards, your opponent's going to be put into a position that they're not going to really be able to respond. And, I mean, Dragonity is very, very well known for just being able to pressure the opponent out of the game. So, Synchro, good stuff, deck. good stuff. So what do you guys think about these interesting decks today? Please leave a comment down below to what you guys think. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.